So Mo has been taking inventory of his health, especially lately here. Had a bout with gout. And you're starting to take a look at everything you're eating now also?
Yeah, they say God works in mysterious ways. And, you know, I saw something once that said when you pray and you ask for patience, God does not deliver you patience. He puts you in a situation where you have to use your patience. And I've learned that this is true because when I got back from the vacation, it was a late night. I had a flight that got me in really late, and I'm on my way home, and I was just thinking, just reflecting on everything, having my daily conversation with God. And I was like, you know, I need some help with one, dealing with my stress. I want to stop stressing over things. And two, with ordering out. Like, that's my weakness. When I'm just tired, when I'm in a situation that I'm in, it's just convenient, and I just do it. And I feel like it's probably a part of my high blood pressure, so on and so forth. So I told God, I'm going to stop. But after tonight, it's late.
See, Daddy did give you patience.
Right?
You're not doing it right now.
I'm not in a rush.
Today. Yeah.
Patience, working on my patience. So because it's so late, it's like one or two things open. So I ordered Chinese food. And I don't know if anybody has ever experienced this on DoorDash. This is my first time experiencing anything like this. So I get home, I order the food, and it tells me the food is going to be there. Let's say it's 10 o'clock at this point. And I'm looking at it, and so 10:15 comes. 10:30 comes.
That's the worst.
10:45. Right. And I don't have any updates. Like, I'm cool if it's saying we're sorry it's taking a while. It's a little delayed, but it's not updating. It's still telling me that it's going to be there at 10 o'clock. So I go and I do the little get help thing. Right. And when you go to get help, it doesn't really give you a lot of options.
No.
It pretty much tells you the kind of help that you're going to get.
And it's impossible to speak to a person.
Absolutely impossible, which I've discovered. So I'm like, it's like, do you need help? I'm like, yes. What you need help with? Where's the food?
the thing that I ordered.
Yeah, you know,
where is it?
The whole reason we're interacting right now. And it tells me, oh, sorry for the delay. Your food, if it's 10:45 in this moment, it says your food will be there at 10:46. So I'm like, come on.
On the way.
Yeah, right. So then I'm like, all right, cool. So then I wait like another 10 minutes. So now it's like 10:56. I do the same exact thing. And it tells me, oh, sorry for the delay. Your food will be there at 10:57.
Are you kidding?
I'm like,
And you ordered it at what time again?
this was supposed to be there at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
So we about 50-something minutes in now, right, to the delay. So I'm like, all right, come on, man. So obviously this is not helping me. It's just going to keep telling me it'll be there any minute, which I would have appreciated if it just said that and stopped lying to me, right? So I'm like, cool. So then it tells me you may have to contact the person that you ordered from. So I call the guy, and he's like, hello? I'm like, hey, man, I made this order. I don't know where the driver is. I don't know what's going on. And he tells me, you know, what's your address? What's the order? I tell him. And he goes, yeah. Like, he doesn't even let me finish. Like, Mark, he's like, yeah. It's on the way. So I'm like, okay. All right, cool. Thank you. So then when I get off the phone, I don't know how this happened. Somehow, some way, I get off the phone with him, and I look at my phone. The guy rung the doorbell, like, in that time. And I missed it. Somehow the phone didn't register on my. I don't know. Like, I have no idea how it happened, but I can see that I have a missed call. But it didn't like give me the option to answer it or to click over. So I'm like, okay, I somehow missed it. So then I called this guy back. It couldn't have been 60 seconds. It had to be about 30, 45 seconds later. And he's not answering the phone. I call him again. He's not answering the phone.
He's enjoying your Kung Pao chicken.
Oh, you better believe it. And that's why I'm steaming. Because I'm like, I wanted the good Chinese food too. I was ready to go down. And then he texts me. Now, he doesn't answer my call, but he texts me. And he says, hey, man, I rung your doorbell. So I'm like, I'm aware. You know, I missed it. My apologies. That was like 30 seconds ago. What'd you do with the food?
Could you even understand what he was saying with all that food in his mouth?
Only because he was texting. So he texts me back, and he's like, yeah, I left it at the door.
Whose door?
That's what I said. It's not mine, right? And then he's like, I said, which door? He said the door that the directions say to drop it off. So now I got to run to the other side of the building because technically that's the door that he couldn't get in to bring the food up. It's not there, of course, right? Like, I put everything, I run over there, it's not there. So I text him back. Hey, man, I don't know which door you're talking about, but the food is not there. Well, I don't know. That's what told me to do. Sorry. So I'm like, okay, so can you at least cancel the order so that I can place another one? At this point, working on my patience, not going to get stressed out about it. No problem, right? He doesn't respond. So then I go on the DoorDash and say, I'm trying to make a new order because my old order didn't get here. So can you please, they like, we can't cancel the order. You have to contact the driver.
Are you kidding?
What an asshole, man.
So then they're like, I said, I can't contact the driver. He's not answering or texting me back. They say, contact the merchant. So I contact the merchant. He said, yeah. Contact the driver.
Damn.
So then like 20 minutes later, the driver finally texts me back. The whole time, I can't place a new order because he has not canceled out the first order.
Now it's like 11:20?
It got to be like, it's like 11:30,
Okay.
11:40, something like that this time. And then I hit the driver, and the driver says, sorry, man, I'm done dashing. You're going to have to take that up with DoorDash. Now, in that moment, I couldn't figure out why. But then it hit me. It's because if he would have canceled the order, then I would have been able to rate the order. And I would have been able to say something about the driver. But because he never canceled the order, I can't complain about the driver because there's no record of the food having ever been delivered. So technically, he did nothing wrong. And like you said, Kristen, I can't get anybody on the phone to complain about him. So this man got to eat my Kung Pao chicken in the peace of life. And I think I'm done ordering out.
That's God's patient testing you right there.
There you go.
Let's spend a second talking about how you knew it was the one. How you finally know, like, this was absolutely the one. But first, is it cold in here to you guys today?
I'm freezing and I am never cold.
I'm sweating.
Yeah.
Are you
I'm
really?
hot. Yes.
It's funny.
cold.
I've been cold all week. Today's the one day I'm not cold. Yeah, I'm not cold today either.
Cold here.
Okay,
You got a
well,
jean
all
jacket?
right.
I've literally I'm wearing a hoodie and I want to put my hoodie up, but I feel like that looks so bougie and weird, so I haven't done it, but it's that
I
cold.
think Bert is doing a thing. Okay?
Oh, this is a
I think he's
bit.
actually cold. Yeah.
Look at your Atlanta
all right.
Hartsfield Jackson
I ain't
ambassador
I ain't gonna
jean
hold you.
jacket.
That's fly. All right, I
That's
get
pretty
it.
cool.
Yeah, that's fly. Yeah, okay. All right.
Bert is literally rocking a jean jacket with patches on it that has the Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson logo.
Yeah.
It has the 100 Centennial patch, and right above the pocket on his chest, the word ambassador.
That's straight out of Top Gun right there.
I was thinking the same thing. Come on, Goose. Do you feel the need for speed, baby?
I do. All the ambassadors got that, which is really pretty cool.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to mention while I'm joking about that is, how did you guys know? Cassie, you're married. Kristen, you're married. Mo, you're in a relationship, and you're obviously head over heels. How did you know? What were the signs that this was the one?
There actually weren't signs per se, but there was a moment. Like, I remember the moment when I'm like, oh, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this man.
When he moved with you?
No, it wasn't that. I guess he's coming with me.
Yeah, well, he was like, wherever you're going, I'm going, woman. I don't care if you want me to be there or not.
Yeah, so just quick recap. My husband and I met in Lexington, Kentucky, and then a month later, I got my first morning show gig in Raleigh, North Carolina. And we had just started dating, but it was going really, really well. Obviously, here we are almost 20 years later. We found ourselves very compatible. And so I left, and then 6 months later, he had a conversation with his older brother, and he's like, am I crazy for leaving everything behind and going to Raleigh to be with this woman? I really feel like that's what I'm supposed to do. And his brother's like, man, like, go for it. So he moved to 6 months later, moved to Raleigh to be with me. And so there we are, cohabitating together. He said he was going to find an apartment. He never did. We actually went to look for apartments for him, and he never moved into one. So we're living together, and everything is going swimmingly. But there was this one moment. So the old radio station I used to work for, the morning show, we used to do the thing called Second Chance Prom, right? And so it's where, like, anybody who missed out on their prom or whatever, you rent out a hotel and you get their ballroom and you throw a big prom party.
Because most people's proms sucked.
Yes.
So you give them a second chance at it, right?
Exactly. And it's always like old school artists. So we had Salt and Pepper one year.
Push it.
Huh?
Push it real.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, that was a good one. I mean, Tone Loc. It was always the best time. And so we went to the Second Chance Prom. And mind you, I'm wearing my prom dress from my senior year of high school. Okay. So like everybody's rocking like old school prom dresses and whatnot. And we walk across the street to go to a different hotel where we were staying. And he grabbed my hand and he pulled me out into the garden of the hotel because he wanted to dance with me.
Oh, wow.
And so we're sitting there and we're swaying with no music or whatever. And it was just such a blissful, like, content moment that it was literally, I remember what I was wearing. I remember the hotel. I remember the Umstead. I remember where we were in the garden. And I'm like, Yeah, no, I'm going to be with this man for the rest of my life.
He just knew right in that moment.
Yeah,
Wow.
I did.
So
Okay.
sweet.
Yeah, I really did.
You better follow that one up well, Cassie.
I don't have a moment like that. It was a feeling, and this is it's gonna make so many people annoyed. But honestly, it's when I realized that going to his place or wherever I was with him felt like home, and that home no longer became a house or where I lived. It was him, and so no matter where we went, as long as I came back to him, I was home. And that feeling for me, it hit pretty early on, but it was gradual because I always felt safe around him. And that was the other thing. Like I could be my authentic self, and no matter what I shared, it would be received without judgment. And so that trust built, and then he became home. And that's how I knew.
That's why I can't get her to go to her actual home.
Because you're
That makes a lot of sense. It's funny because as many times as someone's asked me this, you think I'd have a really good answer by now, but it's tough for me to answer because there was a moment, but it wasn't a sign. It was it was just a feeling. It was immediate too. I was with my dude and I didn't want to go out, which is to me always the best part of the story. How much I did not want to go out that night because it was raining. I was tired. And I was just over it. But he literally forced me to go out. He was like, we're not out here to stay in the hotel room. We're going out. And he dragged me outside. And as soon as we got to the place we were going to, I saw her in the front. And the only thing I could think to compare it to is if you've ever watched a movie and you didn't really know who the star of the movie was, but the movie made it obvious as soon as you saw him. That's how it felt.
She's the star of your movie.
Yeah,
That is so beautiful.
It was so obvious to me, and it was it was just a feeling. And I looked at my dude, and I was like, "That's her." And he was like, "What do you mean that's her?" And I was like, "That's the woman I've been looking for my whole life." And he thought I was joking, and we sat down and we started talking, and I just knew, man. I just knew. And I said the corniest thing I think I've ever said in my life because when the music started getting good, I was like, "So you gonna save a dance for me before we get out of here?"
Stop.
Oh my God, it was corny, Abby. And she was like, "I will." And then sure enough, as the night was ending, I saw her on the dance floor and she kind of gave me this look like, "What are you waiting for?" And we have not stopped dancing since. That was it.
Nice, man.
That was it.
Mine is kind of a combination of all of yours. Kristen said it right off the bat, compatibility. And then Cassie followed it up by saying there is just an ease to the relationship that I'm in now. And it's the very first relationship maybe I've ever been in of any kind where I just feel completely safe. I feel vulnerable. I can say whatever I want. And just to swing this thing back to what I was, where I was originally going, I usually compartmentalized my relationship, right? Like I had my marriage here or my dating life here and my work life was right here. And when I went to events to do something, I would rather do it alone. I didn't want to have to babysit the person that I was with. But now with Amanda, like when this airport thing happened the other day, I felt like I want my best friend to be there, man. Like it wouldn't be the same without her there. And it's the very first time that I've really felt like now I didn't feel I was responsible for another person. I felt like I wanted my best friend there.
I don't think you can have a higher seal of approval than calling your partner your best friend, but in a way where you're not responsible for them, where you truly want to share your life with them every moment.
All really, really interesting though. But I think the compatibility, man, for me right off the bat, that's where it's got to be. That's where it starts.
Oh God, you guys are two little peas in a pod.
We are stumbling our way through life together for sure.
It's a little scary, but it's real cute.
Yeah, we need you guys to stay on top of us. We need you guys to email us and go, "Hey, what storyline? Whatever happened with that whole thing?" So we reserve those for Thursday. We call them follow-up Thursdays, where we take a look at your emails and you remind us of storylines we just haven't closed. So today is Thursday.
So Jamie was concerned her boyfriend might be cheating during spring break, and Jamie and her boyfriend have been dating since August at LSU, but he was distant lately. So she couldn't afford spring break with a boyfriend, but he went to Galveston with his friends, guys and girls. Jamie was concerned after overhearing some girls on a trip saying they found her boyfriend attractive. During the trip, he barely reached out, making her suspicious. So we helped her out with spring break sting. We tested her boyfriend by calling his hotel room. A woman answered the phone, and we pretended to be the concierge confirming a romantic excursion. The woman was excited about it, confirming Jamie's fears that her boyfriend was cheating. And Jamie takes the news surprisingly calm and says that she has, quote unquote, stuff to sort out. So what did she do after she found all this out?
Here's the update. Hi, everybody. I'll keep it short and sweet. Obviously, I am single. I texted him that day to tell him we were over. And to be honest, the worst part was that he didn't even care. He didn't call me or fight me on it or even say he was sorry. He literally just responded, okay, and sent me some random message about hoping I'm able to find my person.
Really quick, is that not the worst when you break up with somebody, even though you don't want to break up with them, you just want to see how much they're willing to fight for you, and then they don't fight for you, and your worst suspicions are confirmed?
Wait. This is a thing?
It was for me.
What?
It was a test to see if he would fight for a relationship, and he didn't. Like, I didn't want to break up, but I pretended like I wanted to break up to see if he would fight for me.
This is a common thing?
Yeah, I did this at a frat party once.
Thank you!
I was hanging out with this guy. I thought he was so hot for some reason. Thank God he's not now. He totally glowed down. But back in the day, this man was hot and he was paying attention to me. And we had this like enemies to lovers thing going on. And so I was throwing some kind of like, not tantrum, but I was like, trying to rile him up. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go to Sigma Alpha doo-doo or whatever. And so I walk out and I turn around and I'm like, he's not following me. Exactly. And so then I went to Instagram DM. I was like, why aren't you following me?
Well, that's different than being in a relationship with somebody and faux breaking up with them just to see what their reaction was going to be, you psycho.
Yeah.
The root of it is the same. The root of it is the same.
The root for sure. Yeah, no, it was my dating antichrist. And I was like, I was feeling a little unappreciated. Didn't feel like I was really a top priority. So I'm like, let's see how much of a priority I am. So I kind of like, again, I had no intention of breaking up. I did not want to break up. And I'm like, I want to see how much this mofo fights for me.
Oh my God. You started running thinking he was going to chase you. He just looking at you.
Yeah, all right.
Run away.
It's like,
Don't let the door hit you.
Oh, and guess what? My self-esteem was so good. I stayed.
Of course.
He literally just responded, okay, and sent me some random message about hoping I'm able to find my person. I was so upset. I don't know what hurts worse, that he cheated or that he didn't even care about getting caught. I almost drove to Galveston to kick his ass, but there's a reason I didn't go up myself in the first place, and that is because I am unfortunately a broke college student. But I racked my brain for revenge because I was not going to let him just get away with this and spend the rest of his spring break having the best time with some tramp. And honestly, I'm very proud of what I came up with. So he's used my laptop before to finish assignments and send things in before deadlines. All that info is auto-filled on my computer. So I was able to log into his student email. I found an important looking email from one of his professors about a poor grade, and I went ahead and replied to it with a very steamy ChatGPT story where my ex tries to seduce the professor in the classroom in order to get a better score. I was laughing so hard I cried, refreshing the page over and over again to get a reply. The professor emailed back later that night with just the message, "Let's discuss this in person once your break ends." I logged out and I haven't spoken to him since. I hope he was as embarrassed as I was for dating him in the first place. Thanks again, Jamie.
I kind of like this one.
It was fun.
It's fairly
Jab
harmless.
and get up out of there.
Yeah, right. All right, so Coachella weekend number 2 is this weekend, right?
Yeah, y'all ready for Coachella?
Oh my God. I can't wait to get my fit.
I usually go online and I look at these festivals and I'm like, oh my God, I really want to do that before I die. And this one, I'm like, no way.
Absolutely not.
It's in the desert, right? So
It
it's
is.
dusty the entire time. And then it just seems like it's more like an influencer convention than anything else.
It's really just for you to take a photo in front of that Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
Is Burning Man in the same location, or is that a different place out in California?
I don't know.
That's in a different place.
Yeah.
All I know, I think I told you guys last week that the statistics were coming out for these festivals now, and the ticket sales on them across the board are going down in each and every. People just don't want to be out there when you don't know what the conditions are going to be like. If it starts raining, the organizers don't have a place for you to run or hide.
It's expensive.
And you're spending all this money on it. So people are watching it live stream now.
Mhm. You could pay like $25,000 for a glamping tent, which I've been watching a lot on TikTok.
Wow.
Do we have time to play a game?
Yeah, but it's going to have to be a quick one.
Okay, here we go. It's time to play Coachella versus Foachella. There are 144 artists playing at the festival, and a lot of them sound extremely fake.
How many?
144.
Yeah, I've been to EDM festivals before, and I don't know if this is the same one, but a lot of times you have bands playing at the same time. So you're walking from one end to the other, and the music kind of overlaps, but there's a bunch of stages happening at the same time.
It's like Music Midtown.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you guys 3 band names. One of them is actually headlining at Coachella, and the other 2 I made up with 2 just like whimsical words that I put together.
Headlining or performing?
Okay, they're performing.
Okay, thank you. Those are 2 very different things.
They are on the poster.
Got it.
If you want a hint, I have fun facts for each of the band names.
Okay.
So you guys tell me, which of these bands is real? Japanese Breakfast, Argan Oil Enthusiasts, or Mashed Potato Salad Boys?
I really want Argan Oil Enthusiasts to be real for some reason.
Say it again one more time.
Japanese Breakfast, Argan Oil Enthusiasts, or Mashed Potato Salad Boys?
I'm going with Japanese breakfast.
I'm going with Japanese breakfast too.
That one feels the most real.
I'm going with the organ thing.
It's not organ, it's argan.
Oil organ sounds right.
Japanese
Maybe it sounds like
Breakfast
something else. Japanese
is real.
breakfast.
All right. Who will you see performing in the desert? Mullet Time?
Mullet.
Mullet Time. Blonde Redhead, or The Angriest Children?
The Angriest Children.
Blonde redhead.
Blonde redhead.
Blonde redhead.
Blonde Redhead is real. Okay, here's the last one. Who is the quote unquote headliner? Pee Pee Poo Poo, Biaba Doobie, or Shimmy Shimmy Mama Want Milky?
One of those is real.
One of those is real.
Wow.
All right, one more time.
Pee Pee Poo Poo,
Pee pee poo poo.
Biaba Doobie,
Be a badooby.
or Shimmy Shimmy Mama Want Milky? One of them is very popular.
It's obviously Biaba Doobie.
Whatever the second one was.
I'm going pee pee poo poo.
She opened for Taylor Swift. It's Biba Doobie.
It's Biba Doobie.
Hey.
Really wanted to circle back to this today. We played a clip of this for you guys yesterday, excuse me, and it got so much response on Facebook that I wanted to read some of the comments, but I also wanted to get a professional in the industry to give us her opinion also. And I've known Elle Duncan from ESPN for like 20 years, and she's going to come on in a couple of seconds. She's like the nicest. She's the best. So if you don't know what this story is all about, there's an announcer for the Braves, Wiley Ballard, and he's like the dude that goes out into the crowd and he talks to Braves fans at different games, right? So they were in Toronto a couple of nights ago, and he's up on the rooftop. I guess they have a bar up there, and he's in between 2 Braves fans in Toronto, and he's talking to them where the conversation gets weird with, I think, mostly the color guy and the play-by-play guy sort of
They were egging it on.
egging him on to get the phone number of one of the girls, right? I think they might have misinterpreted a comment that he made, and it sparked a lot of backlash online. People saying, this was so unprofessional. How could he during a broadcast? If a woman did this, she'd be out of a job. So I think that there wasn't much of a controversy until
And they're in Canada. Of course she's going to give him his number. They're like the nicest people ever.
right. There wasn't much of a controversy about it until women in sportscasting started to comment on it. And then it got into this big back and forth about people need to relax. And let me just give you a couple of examples. Simone Scott, she says, as a female sports reporter, we're already looked down upon when we enter a room because people make assumptions to how we get our jobs. It's great that people think this is funny and no big deal, but we're held to a different standard that for some reason people don't want to acknowledge. We get crucified if we laugh too hard at a joke. It's a boys' club, and we know that going into the job. It's just frustrating that people are pretending that this is not the case. And then there was Chelsea Jones, who's also in the industry, or maybe Chelsea Janes. It says, imagine if a female reporter did anything like this. Career over. Pretty brutal to see it glorified by the broadcast. And then there was the Nashville Predators reporter, Emma Lingen. She says, if this were a female reporter asking for a man's number, it would be unprofessional. But if a man does it, it's funny and acceptable to take multiple victory laps. And in doing so, misogyny is alive and well, folks. And it was one reporter after the other coming on saying, you guys don't get it. You guys don't get it. It might have been really cute for you, but for us in the industry, it's a totally, completely different deal. So I've known Elle Duncan from ESPN for about 20 years. In fact, I tried to hire her here on the Bert Show, and she didn't want that job so much she ran across the country.
She's like, Connecticut, welcome me with open arms.
Hey, Elle.
Hey, Bert.
How are you?
I was like, get me out of Atlanta and move me on up to Connecticut.
That's right. God, imagine how crappy your life would be if you actually took this job.
No, not at all, man. Thanks for having me.
I get so giddy still seeing you on ESPN. I'm like, that's my girl.
No, we go way back, man. We really do.
Yeah, we do. So tell me what you think about this whole story. Is it much ado about nothing? I think from the outside looking in, people are like, oh, come on. This guy was just having fun. It's a great part of the broadcast. And then there were women within the industry saying, hold on a second. Before you think this is cute, it's just not the same for us as it is for guys. Do you agree with that?
I think that two things can be true at once. I think that whenever, I am a woman in this industry, I understand there are double standards. But I think any time there's an opportunity for women to remind people that misogyny still exists, as if we didn't, know that already, there's a bit of a pile-on effect. Like, the truth is, yes, like if a woman was to do that, it would be incredibly unprofessional and she'd probably have had to have, leveled an apology by now. But it can also be true that this just seemed like I'm watching this clip because at first, guys, when I saw just the headline on Twitter and it was like, creepy Braves reporter asked for a girl's number, I was like, wait, what? And then I clicked on it and I was like, oh, this dude got wrapped up in that regional sports network bit where it just it starts to snowball and you can't get out of it. And I in general think that we can talk about the difficulties of being a woman in sports without necessarily the outrage factor. This was cringy. I'm with Kristen. Just because they were in Canada is the only reason that girl gave him her number. She looked very uncomfortable. I think that part was the most uncomfortable part for me, is sort of putting not Wiley in that situation, because his colleagues, I didn't really think of the perspective of he heard it wrong. At first I was like, oh, he's getting egged on by his colleagues. They're the ones. But you're right. Once I listened to it again, I was like, oh, he was saying we got to get the numbers of Braves fans up, because they were saying they weren't Braves fans. He interpreted that differently and started asking for the phone number. But yeah, I mean, apart from it just being sort of a cringy bit on an RSN, I'm not on team outraged. I'm not. I sort of get live television. I think it is a lesson to other journalists, though, that he wanted to sort of go along with what he thought he heard. He wanted to go along with his colleagues. I don't know the power dynamics. Color and play-by-play on an RSN broadcast usually are the big dogs. I don't know if Wiley felt pressured to sort of keep going within that, but it's not like he woke up that morning and decided he was going to hit on a fan in the stands. Right. So, I in general don't tend to get outraged about things like this because it feels like there are bigger things to be outraged by.
I do think it needs to be pointed out that and I want to reiterate what you said, that two things can be true at the same time, because instead of coming after these commentators and coming after Wiley, we can just use this as an example of how misogyny exists in the sportscaster world. And hey, it would just be nice if Wiley can do it. It would just be nice if a woman could do this too and not get raked over the coals for it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is that at least Mo and I were saying yesterday that if a woman did this during a broadcast, we wouldn't think twice about it. But behind closed doors, I think this is what I'm looking for here, Elle. Behind closed doors, would she get chewed out for that where a dude would not?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, 100%. She would a woman in that role would absolutely be talked to, and she would probably be talked to by her female colleagues who would say, you're setting us back by doing things like this. Because, the responsibility of women reporters, of women in this space, is that you feel like the burden of everything that you do and how you conduct yourself and your level of professionalism can potentially impact other people. It's why whenever you hear that a sideline reporter, even though it might be, 1 in a million. Whenever you find out that they've been sleeping with someone on the team, we all collectively go, oh God, here we go, because this is going to be an indictment on the rest of us, right? And it's not necessarily fair. It is not fair. Everybody has and makes their own decisions. People get into this job for a bevy of reasons. And it's not, fair to judge one by everybody, but that's essentially what we're fighting against. You hear a story about a woman potentially sleeping with a boss to get a job, and all of a sudden we all collectively hold our breaths because we know that for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be accused of doing the exact same thing every time we post on social media, right? And so, it's that sort of collective, I think, collective issue that is why so many women are responding right now. I would tell them, take a deep breath, because again, we already know that all of this exists, but I do think it's an opportunity to talk about, some of the issues that we face. I also think that this falls on deaf ears. It's not exactly like we haven't expressed multiple times the difficulties and double standards that comes with being a female reporter. I mean, I know even when I was working for the Hawks back in the day, I found it very difficult to do my job because part of that job is access, right? And getting inside information. And I felt uncomfortable trying to get phone numbers of these players, which is how you get access and inside information, for fear that it would look like I was trying to date all the players, right? So it's something that men don't have to navigate, and certainly we already know that.
Oh, I so value your perspective right now, Elle, because I think so many people, unless they know, they're going to think something. They don't have this perspective, and that's why Bert, when we were talking about this yesterday, was asking myself and Abby and Cassie, would we have felt would management have come after us? But I'm like, radio is a very different animal than TV. TV is a lot more buttoned up, and especially in the sports world, because it's a male-dominated industry. And I'm like, all I can do is read these comments and be like, I'm gonna take these women's word for it. These women who are in this arena, who are doing sportscasting and sports TV, they're gonna know how they're being treated. And so if they're saying this would have been handled differently, I'm gonna take their word for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely this is just women sort of coming to a catharsis, and it's like group therapy, where it's just let me tell you my, right? Let me tell you my journey. And so there's a bit of a pile on because it's also on Twitter. And then I think Wiley went on Twitter and posted the how you like them apples, for getting the phone number. So people don't like that he's not apologetic. And listen, I don't think that this has reached the level of he needs to get fired or anything like that. I just do think that it is a conversation about all of those things being true, that there's a double standard, that it was definitely cringy. I mean, it was just cringy to watch. The whole, it was just such an RSN bit, It's just, Wiley's on the sounds, listen sounds. Nightmares to my time back in RSNs. But I also, guys, can we be honest here? This is the Braves' fault. This is the Braves' fault for sucking. Because if you're good and you're winning and the product on the field is great, then they don't have to go into the stands and talk to fans.
Fair point. She's right. Fair point.
She's right, man. She might be big time now at ESPN, but I do know this. She still has a 404 phone number.
I sure do. Yeah. I'm never letting that guy go. Don't you guys have some random area codes now, Bert?
I'm an inside the perimeter guy anyway, so I don't even pay attention to the other ones.
Exactly.
Speaking of representing women, this is completely off topic, but I always said if I ever got the chance to talk to you, I would personally thank you for giving Stephen A. the business the way that you do every morning. Listen, you stand on business, and I'm here for it. I love it. It's inspiring. Please keep doing it.
Yeah, let me ask you about that, because Mo brings up a really good point, and I know you got to go take care of your kids here in a second. So when you are in that arena, and Stephen A. Smith is sort of the face of ESPN, but if you don't watch sports, he's loud, he's opinionated, he's sort of at the top of his game at ESPN right now. So as a woman, for you to challenge him, was there any backlash for you during that whole thing? I mean, that took a lot of courage.
Yeah, no, you know what's funny is that people, they're always you keep giving it to him, and I bet he doesn't like it. The thing to know about Stephen A. is that Stephen A. is an entertainer above all else, and he's one of the best that there is. You think that Stephen A. thinks it's good television for everybody to just sit there and agree with him? Of course he doesn't. He loves when there's dissent. He loves when we're going back and forth at each other. I think it really does speak to the issue of people only say that because I am a woman, right? And they're like shocked that a woman could be audacious enough to clap back or offer her opinion. But the reason I feel so comfortable doing that is because I'm incredibly well researched. Like, I think about my opinion. I think about what his counter could be. I think about what the other people on the desk could potentially say. Like, it's chess. And I'm always going to express it. I never am inflammatory just for the sake of being inflammatory. But no, it always shocks me when people are like, man, thank you for what you're doing. I'm like, what am I doing? They're like, like disagreeing with Stephen A. I'm like, what else am I supposed to do? Like, if I agree with Stephen A, I will agree with Stephen A. But if I disagree with him, then that's, essentially what I'm going to do. But I do hope that, not courage. I mean, certainly it doesn't take any courage or bravery to give your opinion on a sports show, but I do hope that it like inspires women to speak out and use their voice, like honestly, when you talk about those double standards, one of the reasons a lot of women feel very hesitant to give their opinion is because they're going to undoubtedly be hit with the, what would you know? You didn't play. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. And I'm like, most of these just because you played Pee-wee football when you were 12 years old doesn't mean that you're more acclimated to talk about sports than me.
Thanks.
And so I appreciate that love, and honestly, most of the time I get it from men, so I appreciate that, like the idea that I'm clapping back at Stephen A. But there is never any backlash. Like, he absolutely loves and wants there to be dissent and disagreement because he's an entertainer above all else.
Oh, Elle, thank you for your time, man.
Thanks, guys.
I'm so happy for you guys. Seriously, every time I'm watching, I don't know what your official shift is. It just feels like every time I'm watching ESPN, you're on, and I'm always smiling. Like, I remember back in the day when she was in red. That's Elle.
Yeah, I think you took me out to dinner at, what was it called, Coast? Yeah, I always think of that you when I think about that place, Bert. So thanks for thinking of me. I love you guys. You're the best.
All right, Elle, take care. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Bye, y'all.
See you now. Yeah, I was trying to hire her here. It was before you guys were here.
I was here.
Were you here? Mm-hmm. Was I trying to replace you?
Probably. And obviously, she made the right choice. Oh, man. Did I make a fool of myself not once, but twice yesterday?
Oh, do tell.
And this, I feel, or at least I hope, is a rite of passage for parents with kids in sports. What had happened was, this past Saturday, too many kids were on spring break, so the Orioles couldn't play the Rockies.
The Little League Orioles? They're like, it's not even Little League, right?
It's T-ball.
T-ball.
Yeah, or as they call it in NYO, it's small ball. So it's a bunch of 4-year-olds that just run around and pick their nose and pick their butts and pick the grass and don't really pay attention to the baseball game that's going on.
It's adorable.
It's really stupid cute. So this past Saturday, Orioles didn't have enough kids because, again, they were on spring break. So we moved the game from Saturday to last night, Wednesday at 5 o'clock, which is awesome that we're doing a game at 5 o'clock and 5 o'clock Atlanta traffic in a very busy section of town because there was nobody at the park yesterday.
Perfect.
Anyway, so, get Jimmy up from his nap because
I'm just thinking, would it have hurt just to skip the game? I mean, are the kids going to be like, or
we made a commitment to the team.
You can't just skip the game?
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about just not having the game. It's not like there's standings or anybody's keeping score. I mean, do we really need a makeup game for small ball?
I was thinking that when it was taking us 30 minutes to get to the park instead of 10. Yes, no. And my husband is not particularly happy with me. Just to be blunt, he feels like this is a huge waste of time.
The small ball part of it, or learning baseball, or what?
The small ball. Like, he thinks Jimmy's too young to be doing this. He thinks we should have waited another year before we did this because he doesn't feel like they're anyway, whatever. Different story.
Is he enjoying it? Not Bart. Is Jimmy enjoying it?
I think so. He didn't want to go.
I think so. It's funny. It appears that way.
He really loves the dirt.
Yeah.
He didn't play the dirt last night.
That's huge character growth for Jimmy.
Right? Hey, baby steps, baby. He just stood in the same spot the entire time.
When you think about it through a 4-year-old's eyes, it's a tough sport, man. There's a lot of rules. There's a lot of just sitting around, which 4-year-olds are not good at.
So
are there actually positions, or do they just kind of stand in the field?
They just
everywhere?
scatter them out.
Okay.
There's like 8 kids in the infield, and there's like 8 kids in the outfield, and sometimes parents have to come out there to get them to actually stand up. One kid obviously did not have a nap because he was just rolling around in the grass, and the coach is like, "Stand up, get your hat on, stop throwing your hat."
The Braves should pitch Major League Baseball for this format so they can put 14 people out in the field by now.
It would be so much more entertaining.
So listen, it's a 5:00 game, and we have 5:00 practices, and you notice the difference: the kids that have a nap and the kids that don't have a nap. So I was emphatic that Jimmy Jam had a nap after school yesterday, so he was refreshed for his game, so he wouldn't lose his S, because that's what happens when you have a no nap Jimmy. So I get him up from his nap, tell him we have a baseball game to go to, and he's like, I don't want to go. And I'm like, but buddy, we made a commitment to the team. I don't want to go. I want to go downstairs. I want to watch my little TV. And I'm like, so I bribe him with a sucker, because I'm a great parent. I get his uniform on, and we're heading over there, right? So we're heading over to Chastain Park, where the small ball field is. And again, what should have been a 10-minute ride takes 30 minutes because it's 5:00 Atlanta traffic. So we pull in, find a parking spot right next to the small ball field, which is great. I grab Jimmy's stuff, throw the rest of his Chick-fil-A nuggets in the back seat. I'm like, come on, let's go. We literally have 2 minutes till the game starts, all right? So we're
Yeah, and you don't want to start a game with 13 people in the outfield. So
you really need 14.
So there's a real rush to get onto the field. Yeah.
So I'm looking at the field, and we're playing the Orioles, and I didn't see orange for the Orioles, but I did see purple for the Rockies, and I'm like, money. So we go down there. I walk. We go to the little tiny field. I walk into the dugout. I hang up my son's bat bag, and I'm looking around. And something feels off, but I can't quite figure it out. And there's Bart with my son, because I hate being late. And so Bart and Jimmy they were not hustling as coach tells them to do. They were just struggling. And I'm looking around, and again, I am in the dugout, and I'm not recognizing anybody. And that's when my husband goes, Kristen, not our team.
Oh my God. No way.
One, these parents let a crazy woman walk into the dugout and hang up her kid's stuff and didn't say anything. So I look at the kid's jersey, and sure enough, this is not small ball. This is a step up, because Bart was like, man, I saw one kid, and I'm like, Jesus, he's huge. For a 4-year-old, he's an absolute unit for a 4-year-old. And so, yeah, what happened was I didn't read the Game Changer app message.
Dang
and
it.
we were not at the small ball field. We were actually supposed to be at the practice field at Sutton Middle School. So I have to sheepishly take my son's bag
Pardon me?
off of the gate, and I had to do the walk of shame out the dugout, and I pull up the Game Changer app, and my husband gives no F's. He's like, he is so over this. He's mad that Wyuka was closed and it took us 30 minutes to get over to the park. We are now at the wrong field. I was in the wrong dugout and didn't even notice. So then we mosey on over to the middle school. We park and we get in and we walk up literally. So the Rockies are batting, and they let every kid bat. Like they let every kid bat. And this is how the league works. We walk up and they're like, all right, Jimmy, your last batter.
That's it.
You're in?
That's it.
Just like he ain't get to stretch.
No. So he goes up there and he bats, and he gets a home run because he gets to run because the last batter gets to run all the bases, because all the kids get to run all the bases. And so, yeah, that was my first time. And the parents, there were multiple parents. Like, I walked up and Huddy's dad was like, you went to the wrong field, didn't you? And I was like, yeah. He goes, we've all done it.
Let me tell you, history is a lot more fun when you don't have a test waiting for you at the end of the semester. History is actually just a lot of gossip when you don't have to worry about taking AP histories, DBQs at the end when you got to write about the Pope or something. It's way more fun when you just get to talk about the fun, juicy stuff. So I have a segment called Ye Olde Gossip, where I get to talk about the juiciest and most salacious stories from history, and it doesn't get any juicier or more salacious than Casanova. Because turns out he was a real man. I thought this was just like a fictional character. You know what I mean? Like Moby Dick or something. Like you know what I mean? Like he's just like he's just like a figure of speech. Like if you want to call someone kind of like, a schmoozer, you just call him a Casanova. Turns out this man was real and kind of the original F-boy. So we're talking about the man, the myth, the walking venereal disease that was Giacomo Casanova. So
what's his name again?
Giacomo Casanova. He was Italian. So I want you to picture the most heinous man you have ever dated. Now, give him a powdered wig, a stack of romantic poetry. That's Casanova. Like all good lovers, he was tall, dark, and emotionally unavailable. So this man was born in Venice in 1725. And he came out the womb like, hi, I'm here to make questionable choices and destroy lives. He was born to his mom, who was an actress, which is the 1700s version of that Instagram model you follow with a suspicious source of income. And his dad, we don't really know, but it is pretty on brand that his dad would have hit it and quit it. Casanova hit the ground running pretty early the moment he hit puberty. He had so much sensual energy that at 11 years old, he had to be sent to a seminary to become a priest.
Bro.
And then he got kicked out for being too scandalous, aka flirting with the clergy. Now, when he became an adult, if being a walking heartthrob could pay the bills, Casanova would have been rolling in it. But unfortunately, OnlyFans and being an ex-Bachelor contestant wasn't an option in those days, so he decided to try out literally every job and be terrible at all of them. He was like, you know what? I don't need a good job. I'll just collect vibes, STDs, and hair gel. He was a violinist, a soldier, a magician, a spy, a librarian, and at one point, a lottery supervisor, to which all the people in line to buy scratch-offs from him thought, who is the supervisor? Because if this guy's my cashier, I just won the lottery, hey. And when he wasn't selling scratch-offs at the 18th century 7-Eleven, he was giving scratch-offs for free in the bedroom. This man was getting so much attention. Was getting so much action, he wrote a 12-volume memoir called The Story of My Life, in which the story was just him banging a lot of people across Europe. It would have been titled How I Gaslit, Gatekept, and Girl-Bossed My Way All Across Europe. Remember the whole kicked out of seminary thing? Casanova decided to enact his revenge on the church by sleeping with not one, but 2 nuns at the same time.
What?
When they talked about the Holy Trinity in the Bible, I don't think that's what Jesus had in mind.
Bro, right.
How do you seduce a nun?
It's impressive.
He was literally Casanova.
He had better game than Jesus.
Nobody had better game than you.
Let's stop this right now.
Obviously, a man with this many affairs had to be very open-minded behind closed doors. And one of his rendezvous actually included sleeping with a woman who was disguised as a man, who was in fact having her own affair with another woman who was disguised as a man. There was a lot of drama involved in his love life. I mean, if Tinder existed in 1745, his profile would have just said, DTF, literally anyone. Eventually, the Catholic Church was like, okay, this man has got to go. And we know what bishops are doing. They're like, we know what bishops are doing, but we draw the line at conventionally attractive men having consensual sex. So they put him in handcuffs, and not the fun kind, for immorality and impiety. And they threw him in this horrifying prison called the Leads, which I know kind of sounds like a spa a millennial would launch in your local shopping district, but that is not the kind of place you want to be. Casanova was not going to let a dank cell with some bars stop him from getting some. In a full circle moment, he escapes prison dressed as a monk with a priest. And then he just kept living his life. He went on to write poems, scam the aristocracy, fight in duels, and just in general be a little chaos goblin. Despite his escapades, somehow he was always invited to hang out, kind of like Herpes, but if Herpes had incredible hair and BDE. And as Casanova got older, you'd think biology would take over and this man would just keep his pants on for more than an hour. But he spent his golden years working as the inspiration for millions of people's Halloween costumes for years to come. A sexy librarian. And even then, he still made time for romantic entanglements and stirring the pot like he's Chef Boyardee. Needless to say, this man didn't just exist. He drank up life like champagne, kissed it on the mouth, ran away with it for the weekend, declared passionate love, and then probably stole its wallet. The moral of the story is, if you're sexy enough, you don't need a real job. All you have to do is avoid any responsibilities, fight for your right to get laid, and you still die a legend.
You all want to see what Casanova looked like back in the day?
Yep.
That's
Casanova.
That's him?
He's got good cheekbones.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't really know what I expected.
I don't know what I expected either.
Right.
But, however, there's a movie, Casanova, played by Heath Ledger. That I can get on board with.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like it's a huge miscast. Based on his picture right there. It'll be adorable in here tomorrow, and you'll be able to watch it live on Facebook.
Because we have bunnies.
Little bunnies, hop, 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 little bunnies, hop, 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 little bunnies, hop, 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 hop,
Not one, Not 2, not 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 baby bunnies coming in from the Georgia House Rabbit Society.
It's going to smell so good in here tomorrow.
It is. It is. All right. So we did Bunny Cam many, many moons ago on Good Friday because, if y'all are not aware, Easter is this coming Sunday. We got Good Friday tomorrow. So, the way we should celebrate the Lord having risen is with a Bunny Cam in studio.
Yeah.
This is what Jesus died for.
Please.
Let me insert this in here for just 1 second. So Amanda's son, who is 4 years old, and she's deeply religious, and so is her former husband, plays in the church band. I mean, deeply. So we were talking about Easter the other day with her 4-year-old, and I said to him, well, you tell me what Easter is all about. And he said, it's about bunnies.
Yeah.
And Amanda's like, oh gosh, we really got to talk to him
We
again.
got some work to do.
So if you go to the Bert Show's Facebook page tomorrow during the show, you are going to see a live video streaming our bunnies in studio from the Georgia House Rabbit Society. You'll be able to see Benson, Shabuzi, Halsey, Lizzo, Willow, Fergie, Dolly, and Alanis all in studio with us tomorrow for our Bunny Cam.
And it'll be live streaming on Facebook.
Correct.
All right, well, this is a big deal, dude. You saved somebody's life?
I don't know. Apparently that's what the email subject is, which is why it caught my attention, because you don't get an email every day that says, Mo, you saved my life. So I was all ears, and then I began to read it, and she said that she would love if I could share it. So I figured, why not, since she wanted me to talk about it. And so I'll just read the email and then go from there. The email says, Mo, you saved my life. Hey, I've never reached out to the show before, and I've continually told myself that I'll never do it. After waffling back and forth for a week, I've decided to send the email. Let me start with the fact that I'm a podcast listener of In the Moment and The Big Show. I've been listening for a very long time, and I'm a P1. I remember when you first joined the Big Brother program, and I remember when you first met Landon. I could hear in your voice and love and the bond between you two. I could endlessly wax poetic about y'all's relationship, but I don't need to tell you your own story. What I do need to tell you is that when you spoke about Landon leaving us for the next life, you were like an angel speaking to me at just the right time. For context, I have a quote-unquote Mo in my life, an amazing, supportive, loving person who I've always been able to go to with anything. She was always in my corner. I love her more than I love myself. She was more than a second mom to me. I grew up without a good father in my life, and I was happier to have her than him. She never had kids due to a traumatic surgery in her 20s, so I was her daughter. 3 months ago, she felt ill, and I knew she had been hiding something. That lady was my best friend. Your segment in which you were so vulnerable came on that day, and she stopped speaking to me. Yesterday, she moved on to the next adventure. I stayed with her through everything. I skipped school. I skipped out on my friends. My mother and I spent every day and night with her to the end. I didn't realize that I so badly needed to hear someone I look up to say that life can go on after we lose a family member we choose to stand with through life. You're being so open and willing to share, that made me feel like I could survive this. So from me, a random 17-year-old girl, to you, a man who has saved my life in so many ways, thank you. CJ, a junior BL on the DL. P.S. If you want to read this on the show, I'm not sure why you would, but I'd love if you could talk to KK and get it on the schedule. You totally can. I tried to keep it short. I also CC'd the producer email, so hopefully you will actually get it and read this. While I'm making unreasonable demands, if you could shout out Jill Edie, the kindest, most generous person I have ever had the honor of knowing, I would be forever more than grateful. So here's your shout out. And here's your shout out to Jill Edie. I just wanted to read this because I feel like it's so important to feel seen and to feel heard when you're dealing with grief. And I wanted to let you know that I read it and I hear you, and it brought tears to my eyes. And, when I was speaking about Landon, for those who may not know, Bert's Big Adventure kid who unfortunately transitioned, it was, it's still hard to talk about, but obviously he's a child. So it just hit different, right? And the bond we shared was so magical that I think for a while, I was looking for answers because it just felt so unfair. And it's just, there is no answers really. And I went to the place I always go since as far as I can remember, I went to my grandmother and I just needed to grieve. And she said to me, Reese, sometimes the answer is simple. It's just not one you want to hear. But I truly believe that Landon was an angel and he was put in your life at a specific time for a specific reason to do something that only he could do. And I'm sure you're not the only person he did that for. And for some odd reason, that gave me closure. As hard as it is, I realized that pain comes from something that was so magical that only he could have created. And though we grieve And in it, when you're in it, it just feels so unfair and it feels so painful. I think when the smoke begins to clear, which it takes a long time, and I don't know if it ever fully does, but I do think you begin to just appreciate the moments and the fact that as unfair as it seems, it's like, wow, how magical was that? And just how amazing was it to have that moment and to have that person? Because I do believe that some people are just angels, man. They're just sent to do specific work in your life. And it's funny because people always talk about how I'm not afraid to jump or I'm not afraid to leap. My family, my friends have said it all my life. But the truth is, there are times when I'm afraid to leap. And as cheesy as it sounds, I've kind of said to myself, I'll never be afraid to leap again because I'll never have to worry about the landing. And that's what I feel like he gave me. And I feel like Jill has given you that. And I think you should appreciate that. And shout out to Jill, shout out to Landon and everybody else who has been an angel to somebody. But I hear you were seen, and I think this email was amazing. Thank you for sending it.
Beautiful stuff, man. What we're going to do at the end of this is we're going to put all the celebrities on our website, and you guys will vote on who you think the biggest celebrity is. And I don't want there to be any bias towards anybody that is working on the show. Mo never wins these competitions. Never ever.
Not a one time.
So you guys won't know. And the second thing is, we mentioned this yesterday while we were on the air that the last time we did Who Do You Know, some of their motivation to come on and call was they were getting some money for a charity of their choice.
Well, not only that, because the last time we did this, we did it with listeners, and listeners had to get celebrities to call the show. Again, at any point in time, Monday through Friday, 6A to 10A, any celebrity could call our hotline at any time, and we'd have no idea who it was. So if a listener got a celebrity to do that, if you won, the listener got $5,000. So the listener obviously knows the celebrity. There's like a connection because they had family members calling in. So the celebrity is hooking up somebody they know with $5,000. And then on top of that, they're getting $5,000 for the charity of their choice. So they were helping out somebody they know and also helping out a charity.
Okay, so I don't have $5,000, but I am going to throw this in. For sort of a carrot for our celebrities, $1,000.
Thank you.
$1,000 for the charity of their choice, which might help them be more motivated to call in.
Okay.
Because I have been I've been working on this.
Have you?
Yes, I've been working on this, and as I've been working on it, I have come to realize this is a very self-serving bit.
For sure.
What do you mean?
For us and not for the celebrity.
Oh yeah.
This was like I'm like. Because we don't have that personal connection for a celebrity to care whether or not we get a week off. A celebrity doesn't care whether or not we get a week off from work, right?
Well, I think that's the beauty is you got to tell them like your life story and connect them so they, I'm a mother that barely has any time off to spend with her child.
Jennifer
Please
Aniston is not going to care when
I need a week with my cat. So even this little bit of a carrot is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, it's a little something.
Yeah, I've been working on it as well. I've made a call, and literally the response was, okay, but for what?
Yep.
And I was like, I get a week off, and they just laughed. like, all right.
And the other thing, too, I like to think that, we have a decent-sized platform, and we are a nationally syndicated radio morning show. We also have a podcast that gets a healthy amount of downloads. And that, if a celebrity has something they want to promote, here you go. Here's your chance. And we're not holding you to, a specific day or time. You literally can call whenever you have a moment free in your 4-hour window. And even I'm like, that's not good enough. My show's not good enough for me to promote my stuff.
I think I'm all set, Mo.
I'm doing good. I'm sorry.
I'm straight.
Did you say the Bert Show or the Today Show? If it's the Today Show, yes.
It is the Today Show on the Bert Show. It is Today's Show.
Yeah. Right, today we are doing Today's Show.
Okay.
Also for you guys listening, it doesn't matter what we're doing on the show. When you hear this sound right here, that means you have a celebrity on the line. We'll stop what we're doing. Okay. I find it interesting that Mo and Kristen have already made some connections because I've been getting a lot of people asking me who do you think is going to win this competition? Okay. So I put my Vegas odds together. Leading, I think the best odds to win this is Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy's been a producer for so many shows. He's been producing his entire life. He has a large contact list. I had Jackson at number 2, just because he's sneaky and clever. All right. He's just a sneaky kind of guy and figures out how to get things done. Number 3 on my list was Abby.
Interesting.
Yeah, for the same reason Jackson.
Okay, I might be a sleeper hit.
You're kind of wily. All right.
What does that mean?
Just clever and wily. You just figure out ways to get things done.
Okay.
Then I had Rebecca. Then I had Mikey and Amber, just because they have more time to work on this. And then I had Mo, Kristen, and Cassie last, because Cassie has so many things to do that she's just too busy, man. She's just way too busy. And I figured you guys wouldn't have the time either.
I'm not sure how to feel.
Mo knows famous people.
Right.
Yeah, and we heard the reaction of that person yesterday. All right, so that's my list so far.
Okay.
I like
being an
how
underdog.
those Vegas odds can go up and down every single day.
I'm actually wondering, because you know how we talk so much about like celebrity and entertainment news and, you know, people being manipulative and calculated. I'm wondering if you are being calculated with your list in the hopes of like lighting a fire under Mo and I or Cassie in order to try to get bigger celebrities on.
Do you really think that I spent any time thinking to strategize how to get you guys more invested?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That might be a reach.
Now, I do have one more for you guys, okay? Mm-hmm. Some of you guys are going to have to make really tough decisions over the course of the next couple of weeks. I've had listeners reach out to me about celebrities that you guys might not morally agree with, but would win you the competition. I'm not gonna name who they are. Just based on the calls and video messages I've received from listeners, I have turned around and told them, look, would I take the celebrity? Maybe, maybe not. But that is not my decision. So you have to reach out to whatever Bert Show member you want to have to make that decision on having that celebrity on. And some of you guys are going to struggle mightily with some of the suggestions that they're making.
Who has the loosest morals on the Bert Show, essentially?
I would say you might just not agree with how they live their life.
We're not morally compatible.
Okay.
Doesn't mean one's right, doesn't mean one's wrong. It just means you have a different set, so you're not morally compatible.
There's a couple of them you guys are really going to have an inner debate about.
Really?
Yes. But they could probably win you the competition.
I'm here to win.
I want to know who these names are.
I do too. I really want to know.
A couple of you guys are going to find out over the next couple of days as listeners reach out to you.
Please, I'm desperate.
So,
And I got no moral compass when it comes to a week off.
Facts.
All right. And again, for you guys, anytime you hear this sound, we got a celebrity on the line. We're going to do a background check here in just a couple of seconds. Oh, here we go.
Shut up.
Here we go. Okay. Abby, what does that sound?
That sound means we've got a celebrity on the line.
All right, so these guys are competing for a paid week off vacation. As celebrities call in over the next couple of weeks, whoever gets the biggest celebrity, the biggest A-lister to call in will get that vacation week off.
and it's everybody on staff, not just the people who are currently in the studio.
So this is going to be our very first one in this challenge.
All right, let's pop our celebrity cherry.
Part of the fun of this for us is like we don't know who's on the line, so it's not like we can prepare questions or anything like that. And we're never going to know, by the way, who this celebrity called in for. We'll find out at the very end.
Yep.
All right. Good morning, Bert Show. Who is this?
Hi, good morning. My name is Aiden Turner.
Aiden Turner. Oh, Abby's freaking out.
You were amazing in Rivals and Poldark.
I appreciate that. I came here to Atlanta to work with Tyler Perry, and I was on If Loving You Is Wrong, and did Dancing with the Stars in 2010 with editor Slavinska, and I did 9 years on All My Children with Susan Lucci and Josh Duhamel.
And you're in Atlanta now, or you were saying that you were originally in Atlanta for that project?
Oh yeah, I moved here because I met a beautiful girl from Beaufort, Swanee.
Oh, no way!
Settled down in Atlanta.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And you're originally from where?
Just outside North London, between London and Cambridge.
Okay, well, Swanee is the London of Georgia, and I think you now know that.
All right, so Aiden, what's the one thing you miss the most from like where you're from, just a little outside London? But what's the one thing that you love the most about now being here in the States in Georgia?
The one thing I miss the most about being home is the sense of humor, but mainly on Sundays we have a roast dinner with potatoes, gravy, and like sliced lamb and carrots and peas, and it's a roast every Sunday. And you can go down to the country pub, or you can make it at home. Watch some soccer, which we call football. I love Atlanta. I love the fact that the winter, after living in New York for 9 years, the winter lasts 5 months or 4 months. Here, you get 1 month of cold weather, and then before you know it, it's spring again.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Atlanta. Welcome
Obviously
to Georgia. Welcome to Buford. Welcome to Swanee.
Yeah, obviously the allergies haven't claimed you yet.
No. I even used my leaf blower to get rid of all the
pollen.
yellow stuff.
Terrible. Right. Totally terrible. Well, we appreciate you calling in. Do you support any charity that you would like to promote today while you have the time? Just as a thanks for calling in?
Absolutely. I love St. Jude.
Oh, yeah.
St. Jude charity.
It's a good one.
And tell them a little bit about St. Jude.
With St. Jude, it's basically a charity that helps children that are unfortunately sick with certain cancers or leukemia or whatever, and they for sort of low-income families that really can't afford the treatments, they take care of the children and they get them better. At least they try their absolute hardest to do it. And I've worked with the charity a couple of times, 3 times, and gone to see the kids, and it just touches my heart very much.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and St. Jude is also big on research as well. So they're hoping to come up with more solutions, better treatments, and cures for these kiddos.
Aiden Turner, we really appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you very much. You're the very first celebrity this round to give us a call.
Congrats on being first, man.
Let the games begin.
All right, Abby, you were the one that freaked out the most. Is there anything you would like to say in closing with Mr. Aiden Turner?
No, I'm just happy to have you here.
Really?
Thank you, Aiden. Appreciate you calling in.
Take care, guys. Love you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Take care.
Well, that was cool.
Okay, now we don't know.
No clue.
We have no idea which Bert Show member had them call in, but I'm pretty sure it's Cassie based on her face right now. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
No comment.
Okay. All right, so that's how it's going to work.
All right.
Anytime we have a celebrity call in, I was a little freaked out because I didn't know the name. I'm glad somebody on staff did.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I didn't know.
Not a clue.
When you started freaking out, I was so relieved. I didn't know where we were going to go. But the whole thing. Was he also in The Hobbit?
Yes.
He was. Oh, wow. It's interesting how Cassie knew so quickly.
I saw his name on the phone screening software and IMDb'd him.
Okay, to be fair, I did the same thing.
Thank you.
I did the same thing, and because I wanted to see what he looked like, and way to go, dude.
No, there's 2 Aiden
Yeah,
Turners.
can I be honest? I mixed him up with the other Aiden.
Bring the music down. Bring the music down.
I was afraid of that just by looking at the other guy.
He wasn't in those movies.
So there is an Aiden Turner.
Wait.
So hold on a second. We need to recap this for a second.
No, I'm so
you're all excited.
I'm so humiliated right now.
And you're rattling off all these movies that he was in, and he's being so nice on the phone, and he doesn't say that's not me.
I knew it. I knew it by his response. There was a beat of hesitation, and then he started listing out his credentials, and I'm like, oh no.
There's 2 Aiden Turners.
To be fair, they're both
That's great.
You were so excited.
I mixed him up with the other British Aiden Turner.
No, the other one's Irish.
Well, I mean, same thing.
Yes. Tommy, do explain the difference in the Turners, please.
Okay, so the one that called in, Aiden Turner, he is British. He was Aiden Devane on All My Children for many years. And
he told us that.
Yeah, he gave us his resume.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's been on Single Ladies, NCIS Los Angeles, Satisfaction. He's appeared opposite John Malkovich, Martin Lawrence.
This is the Aiden that just called.
Yes,
Okay.
and he was on Dancing with the Stars in the 10th season.
Okay.
So he is truly a star.
Who's the other one?
Really
The
hot dude
other
in one of my
one-
favorite
hang on.
shows.
Hang on. He is also he's from Ireland, Dublin, Ireland. And
Which I know is different than the UK.
he was in The Hobbit. He was in a bunch of stuff on the BBC. The one that jumps out at me the most is The Hobbit.
All right.
Oh, they're both cute.
Oh, and he's a ballroom dancer too, so maybe we'll see him on Dancing with the Stars 6.
All right, so
You know what? Now I'm going to try and get other Aiden Turner as a redemption arc.
Oh, that made my week, man.
totally. All right, so
When you turn to me and go, do you have any questions for him? I'm like, nope,
how's
not
that
a
possible?
one.
You were
Just
so
happy you're
excited.
here.
Not a one.
He wasn't.
Because I was like,
He wasn't.
He wasn't.
so what was it like working on The Hobbit? I wouldn't know because that's not me.
All right, I'm going to add another rule. If you just know somebody named a celebrity's name, you can also have them call us in, even if they are not a celebrity.
I'm just guessing Abby had nothing to do with him calling in.
Well, now we know, right?
He can cancel her out.
Each and every week I fall more in love with you. I got to tell you, she called us a couple of days ago, and she was telling us that she's about to get pregnant by a stranger. But she was starting to get some red flags, and she wanted us to do a background check on this guy, which we have done, and we'll give her the results in a second. But Tommy, look, for you guys that are trying to get in on our competition, to get an A-list celebrity on, don't try calling and faking it. We just had that. Somebody tried to have that happen.
Yes. Somebody called in and Amber and Jackson, who are back there answering phones, they were like, you better check this one out. And it was a dude, and he goes, hey, this is Jason Aldean. I'm like, this is not Jason Aldean. He goes, it is. I'm offended. You don't think I'm Jason Aldean. And then he starts singing his Dirt Road song.
Yeah.
And I was like, you are not Jason Aldean.
Yeah, so we've done this a couple of times. So when the celebrity calls in, we have questions that only the celebrity would really know about their life. So if you just randomly try to call in, you better know every single thing about this celebrity because they're random questions.
That has backfired. I've been on other stations that has done this contest, and I'm always the person, because I know so much about pop culture, I know the questions they ask. Well, this guy, an actor, famous actor named Gavin McLeod, he was on a show back in the day called The Love Boat. He was on the Mary Tyler Moore show. He calls in, and he was older, grant you, but he couldn't answer some of the questions I was asking. And these were like softball questions, and he got very mad. And so I didn't let him through because I didn't think it was him. Turns out it was him. And his people called to let me know how displeased they were.
Wow.
So,
All right, so let's get Jessica back on here. Hey, Jessica, good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Hi. Okay, so for those that didn't hear you the first time that you came on for us to do a background check, just tell them exactly why you needed us to do a background check because of some of these red flags you were starting to see.
Yes, so I plan on getting pregnant by him, and there's just some things I've noticed about him that just doesn't add up. The math just isn't mathing. So I was just wanting you guys to do a background check to make sure he doesn't have like 10 families out in the world, because he was is a retired Navy SEAL. So I just want to make sure I'm having a baby with someone who's actually available.
So it's almost like this man is a stranger and you don't know anything about him.
Yeah, what's the history? Give us the 30-second history on exactly how you guys met and what your intention was right off the bat.
We met off a dating app. The intention was to date, but we were being so reckless. We immediately started playing piano, and since we were being reckless, I was like, hey, I want to have a baby. Are you okay with that? And he says, yes. And so we started attempting to make a baby, and we attempted again last night. Hey.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
That's the sound of someone who had a good
No,
night.
we cannot celebrate
Who
this.
wants to take this?
Okay, I will.
Come on.
Jessica, we haven't given you the results of the background check yet.
You're right. Let me calm down.
It's too late for that.
Yeah. You called us because you wanted us to do a background check because you weren't sure if this is the guy. And then you guys did what you did last night before getting the results. So it could have happened already.
Yeah, you're right. But, what if the background check comes up empty? You know what I mean? Then I would have wasted a pregnancy opportunity.
An ovulation day?
Yeah,
She couldn't
okay.
waste an ovulation day to wait to see if the man has multiple families across multiple states.
You just got us wasting our time out here at this point.
And money, those things ain't cheap.
Yeah, just say what it is. You were just frisky last night.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself.
All right, let's see what she got herself
she did
into
say
here.
he's hot, which is one of the reasons. He's tall, he's dark, he's handsome.
Navy SEAL, that's good stock right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Tommy has a friend that he reached out to do the background check, a PI, in fact.
Yes, she ran the background check. His name checked out. There were several aliases, but all of the aliases were like derivations of his actual name. So I think we're okay there. He is telling you his real name. He did check out that he was in the Navy, a master at arms, in fact, in the U.S. Navy.
She knows that.
I have no idea what that means, but it sounds good. And under possible relationships, I counted like 14 regular names. And then under possible relationships, bad boys for life.
What?
Wait, what?
It was under possible relationships. I don't know if this is a group. Maybe he's on Facebook or something. Bad Boys for Life and Big Daddy O.
Well,
I'm
you can speak
confused.
You can speak to the second one.
So was this in the background check, or is
Yes.
this stuff you found on Facebook?
No, this was in the background check.
Possible relationships?
There were a list of like 14, and it could be like maybe they're related somehow.
Oh, so not like romantic relationships,
No,
but
no,
like
no,
you
no.
you are affiliated with
Yes.
this in some
It
capacity.
didn't define the relationships. It just said these are people in his life.
What is Big Daddy O?
I don't know.
So
I don't
maybe
want
it's
it. What
groups.
Renee calls me in the bedroom.
Oh my God.
Tommy.
Big Daddy O, Tommy O.
No, we got it. No, we
Yeah.
got it. We got it.
Let's move past this.
Okay.
All right, so let's move past that. Criminal and traffic records. A lot of people are concerned about the criminal records. He has a couple of misdemeanors. Back in 2006, when he was 19 years old, he had a couple months apart from each other. Reckless driving, a 60 and a 35. So I'm thinking maybe he got a new car back then.
Okay, that's still kind of sexy.
Yeah, that's nothing. All right, now this may be something to be concerned about. I'm going to name off a bunch of cities, and you tell me if you know that he's lived in these cities, because all of these cities, these are addresses that have been affiliated with him.
So this could be because he was in the Navy. He might have been being transferred from one place to the other. Yeah.
Maybe, but it also may be where his baby mama lives.
Oh,
I don't know. Scranton, Kansas.
Yeah, there's a lot of Navy SEALs in Scranton,
I
Kansas.
think
There is.
That's where I know that's
Is there?
where,
No, I'm Googling the city and Navy base
Well, I
to
do
see
kn-
if they correlated.
I do know that's where his current address is, and I'm looking at the address.
Okay.
She gave me the actual address that one came through.
Where are Navy SEALs going to do training in Kansas?
They got ponds.
Got tornadoes, lots of witches flying around.
Bremerton, Washington, Oklahoma City, Carbondale, Kansas, El Cajon,
Hell, I know. That's where I worked at Taco Bell.
Virginia Beach.
And El
That's a big
Cajon?
Navy. Seriously?
Yes.
Is it really? Is that a big Navy town?
yeah, San Diego.
San Diego is.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Virginia Beach,
Yep.
Phoenix, Minneapolis, Jarrell, Texas, Oklahoma City, I already said, Carbondale, I said, and then there's an Air Force base listed as well.
Yeah, so all this
All
could
those
make
are
sense.
checking
Yep,
out,
they
yeah.
check, right?
So we did find his Facebook, and he also had a MySpace. So he's been active on social media for a
That's the
while.
weirdest part so far.
I
How
did
did
not
you
go.
find a MySpace?
I did not go to MySpace because that's ancient, but I did check out Facebook, and it turns out he is a great uncle. He has many pictures with his nephew. Took him to a ball game, so I think he's a stand-up guy.
How do we
He
know it's
al-
his nephew, though?
He also, because he said it was his nephew,
Oh, that makes it believable.
and it looked
That checks
It was
out.
a young boy, so I believed that it was nephew.
okay.
Okay.
He's a veteran. Have some respect.
This
He
is my
served our country.
and
this is my nephew.
Yeah, nice to meet y'all.
and he supports the VFW. I've saw several posts on that. Mo, what's the VFW?
I don't know.
Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Yeah, thanks, America.
It's a big one. Yep.
And he's a big sports fan. Many posts about the Chiefs, the Jayhawks, and of course, Navy. And he plays softball.
Oh, he's
It's
a winner.
softball league.
Okay.
There was nothing that we found in the background report that suggests another woman or, kids in other states, families in other states. So, Jessica, I believe your man is good to go.
So you didn't make a mistake last night.
Yes,
Do it.
As if it mattered.
To give you his seed.
Jessica, just curious. What would you have had to have found out today to have cut this off and not have a baby with this man?
So since he is so close with his nephew, I had it in my mind that was really his son, and he was just pawning off as his nephew. So that would have been a deal breaker for me. And if he was married with or had multiple families out there in the world, those would have been a deal breaker for me.
Okay, so it's all good.
You're
All right.
you're clean.
He served his country and he's servicing you too. So it's all good.
Doing his duty.
Yep. All right, so you got it. Go for it. Continue to go for it.
I plan on it. Thank you guys so much.
right,
This is
Jessica,
so
see ya.
funny. I love you guys.
Love you too. It's
Thank
smart she's
you.
going with the Navy. That way she can get herself a seaman.
You can retire now.
Oh,
They will take that, Gracie, right back.
They should.
Or they should give you another one for that.
We need to delete that. They will take the Gracie back.
No, you
man.
didn't drop your headphones after you said it. I saw this video going viral, and immediately as I was watching it, I felt seen. And the comments seemed to have said the same thing. So I'm curious as if this this goes this way in you guys' relationships as well. It's a repost from @JoshUglyASF on Twitter, but it's a man explaining the different dynamics of communicating in a relationship as a man and as a woman.
I told my wife, I'm like, hey, my buddy Jordan got engaged. And she goes, oh my gosh, tell me everything. I just did. I told you everything that I learned from that conversation. And she's like, no, how did they get engaged? How did he propose? I didn't ask. We don't ask each other those questions. I don't even know how old he is. There are so many other questions that I would ask him before that. And she goes, why don't guys ask each other more questions? I'm like, we do. I asked him, I was like, hey, are you sure? Now, as far as that conversation, I learned what I needed to learn. Number one, he's engaged. Number two, the date of the bachelor party. But as far as the proposal, hey, Jordan, what was the mood and the setting like when you proposed? I'm on a need-to-know basis. And if Jordan's not going to volunteer that information to me, which he didn't, thank God, I don't need to know.
That's literally how every small talk goes in my relationship, every single one.
Why don't you want to know the details, though?
Why?
You don't want to know how he proposed, the thought, the preparation that went into it?
No, not at all.
My husband's best friend got engaged late last year. How did my husband find out? Through me, because I was texting him about getting together for Bart's 50th birthday. And as he's texting me, he just nonchalantly shoots me a photo of him and his fiance with her ring that he apparently proposed to her at Thanksgiving. And I'm like, OMG, what? And I go to my husband and I'm like, did you know Markham's engaged? And he's like, no. And I'm like, what the heck is going on?
This is what guys do.
This is what we do. Need to know basis.
Yeah. We don't ask for details.
No.
Just tell us the bare minimum and we feel connected.
That's it. Congratulations.
And
I'm
like,
out of here.
I'm looking at my husband. I'm like, are you not offended? He's like, no, he'll ask me to be in the wedding. And then that's how I find out.
Pretty much it right there.
Tell me what time to be there.
What happened to storytelling? What happened to details?
we don't need all that.
We don't need all that. No, it's too much.
Another reason for women to be all upset. Here's audio of a woman upset that, not that her husband was crying, but why he was crying.
We got married 2 years ago, and he sees me in my wedding dress coming down the aisle. This man does not shed a tear. My dad gave this beautiful speech on our wedding day. Nothing. Yesterday, he's watching this golf tournament, and he cried when whatever his name is, when he won, he cried over a golf. It is the maddest I've ever been.
Rory McIlroy wins, and this dude is tearing up, yet he doesn't cry on his wedding day. That's funny.
I'd be furious. I would be furious too. Have you also seen the viral post of women posting what men look like when they are when they're posing with fish or when they're at their favorite sporting event and their eyes are just so big and then and this is what he looked like on the day he married me and they're just like I mean it is like
Forced to be here, gun to their head.
right, and it's like literally look at him taking pictures with me Now look at him taking pictures with a fish he caught and see which one brings him most joy.
Y'all need to stop marrying men who don't like you. Like, that's the real epidemic here.
All right, Jackson, this is the weekend, man. It's a big weekend here for you.
Huge weekend for me, or it could be. It has the potential to be a big weekend for me. So I'm going to be heading down to Savannah actually today with my girlfriend to go to a tattoo convention. And it's kind of random. We didn't really have plans to go to this event, but basically a few weeks ago, she was getting a really big piece done on her leg. My girlfriend loves tattoos. She has big plans for a bunch of them, especially right now she's kind of filling out her legs.
She has sleeves?
No, nothing above the waist. Everything is on the legs right now.
Good. So I can say this. Sleeves are sexy.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you not want to offend Jackson by calling his girlfriend sexy?
Yeah.
She had sleeves.
Right. I would have totally pipivoted.
Now his girlfriend's going to get sleeves. Yeah, and now I'm offended that you don't think legs are sexy, but you think sleeves are sexy.
Yeah, the legs they're nice, but sleeves on a woman.
I agree with you. Yeah, I love sleeves.
Sleeves are hot. I think tattoos are hot, right? Mm-hmm. And so she was getting this huge piece done on her leg, and she was getting tattooed for like 8 or 9 hours straight, which is, by the way, insane. I got my very first tattoo in Savannah for the youth group's, St. Patrick's Day shenanigans, and that took about 7 minutes, and I was in pain, and I'm not going to lie about that. And she is able to sit on this table for like 8, 9 hours straight.
I did 4 hours, and I couldn't do anymore. I had to take a break.
Yeah.
Right. And so they ran out of time the last session that she had. And this artist was actually just guest tattooing at a shop here in Atlanta. And so she was like, I'm going to be in Savannah for this convention next month. Let's finish it up when you guys, then. So we made the plans. Now we're heading down to Savannah. And so I assume that none of you guys have been to a tattoo convention, but it is a sight to behold.
Oh, I bet.
Have you, Kaylee? Because I know you worked at a tattoo parlor, though you did tons of piercings.
Oh, I've been to many tattoo conventions.
Is this mostly for people to just stumble in on, or is it mostly just for those in the industry that are comparing notes?
I'm sorry. It's for both.
Yeah?
Yeah, it totally varies. It's a good place for artists to network with other artists. A lot of people will find their favorite artist is coming to a city that's closer to them, even though they live across the country or maybe in another country, and they can go see them there. And then other people just walk around, and there's artists that don't have any bookings for the day, and you can just get one right there.
Oh, wow.
Is Savannah known for its tattoos as to why they're having the convention there?
No, I think they have a big convention center, and they're just happening to host this one in Savannah.
Okay.
And so that's just how it worked out, right? And so...
Yeah, I feel like it should be in a grittier town.
I know, right? Savannah's kind of artsy, like Stad's there.
That's fair. The last one that I went to was in Richmond, so that's the only other experience that I have going to this.
I don't know why, when I think tattoo, Savannah's not the first. I don't know what city pops into my...
New York.
Yeah.
Right.
LA.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Agreed. And so while she's getting the rest of her, giant piece done, which is going to take another 5, 6, 7 hours tomorrow, and we're going to be there all day Saturday as well, there's a chance that I'm going to stumble across something, and I don't know how reckless it might be for me to just pick something out and just be like, yeah, let's get this today.
Oh, yeah. I assure you that you are going to get this done.
And so you think I am?
Oh, yeah. I think it's the same thing. I made this analogy to you off the air. It's like, we're just going to go and check out the puppies today. We're not going to bring anyone home. We're just going to check. No one has ever walked away and not without a puppy. If you're around that environment, when you can get a tattoo, you're going to get a tattoo.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just going to kind of be, taking in all the energy of all the people that are around, and I'm going to be super tempted to do it. But the thing is, I'm a big planner, I mean, granted, I did get a rat tattooed on me very last second, and I walked into a tattoo shop, but that's just on my hip, it's hidden.
And you were born the year of the rat.
I was. That's the reason why I got it.
There is
Context is important.
I do feel like, because when somebody tells you I got a tattoo of a rat, there's a lot of things that can run through your head as to why that choice, but you were born in the year of the rat.
Can
so
I ask you a random question?
Sure.
What other years are there? Because it always feels to me like it's the year of the rat.
It's the year of the snake this year.
Year of the snake is this year. There's dragon,
Pig,
there's horse, pig, dog.
I was born in the year of the goat.
Oh, yeah? You should be the year of the manatee.
Do they have a year of the manatee?
The ancient Chinese manatees that roamed the earth.
How does your mom feel about this? Because she's the one that really is not down with you getting tattoos.
She has no idea what's going on, so she's going to hear this and she's not going to be happy. We all knew that, though.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, I've got to stand up and I've got to feel like, maybe it is time for me to do something that is a little bit more spontaneous and just commit to something, because I'm going to have a lot of time to kill. still, and I really like tattoos, and I've really been thinking about getting one, so why not?
They also have ghost tours, man.
I'm not going to do that by myself.
Why not?
No, I'm there for one reason and one reason alone.
I say go for it, Jackson. Get tatted, man.
All right, I love it.
The Bert Show.